Hey everyone, and welcome back to So You Say You're Married? I'm Cody Mann, and today is a special episode for you guys. So I did an interview with Amber Card, who owns Inspiring Thyme. And Inspiring Thyme is a fabulous blog. I love it so much. Amber's brilliant in her creativity with everything that she does. But Inspiring Thyme is a blog that is about lifestyle tips and tricks, and she is also a phenomenal florist. So she gives wonderful ideas on how to decorate your home with flowers and flower arrangements that you can do just from your own garden, fresh cut out of the back. She also has wonderful styling ideas. Her and her husband, Christopher, actually have a podcast called Grounded that has a lot of interaction between the two, and I absolutely love it because they're the cutest couple. They really are, and they work so well together. And I can't say enough wonderful things about them. I could go on and on and on. But Grounded just launched a couple weeks ago, and she is now discussing everything with Christopher on Grounded, and they're doing it together, which adds a whole new dynamic to it that I really, really love, because you get to see the man's perspective, and you get to see his side of the story on moving to new places and going through the home reno. I didn't mention this before. It would be important for you to note that they are a military family. So Christopher is constantly being moved from base to base to base, which means that they are relocated on a regular basis. Those of you that have been privileged enough to be part of our military, A, thank you for your service, but B, you understand what they're going through and the challenges that they encounter. And this is a way for them to share that and to discuss that. So Amber was gracious enough to have me on her podcast, and she interviewed me about coaching in my business, and I think it opens up a lot of perspective for any questions that you guys may have. But I also wanted to open up another avenue for you if you needed a creative outlet or creative ideas. Definitely check out Inspiring Thyme, Amber's blog. It's Inspiring, Thyme, as in time, like the herb. And Grounded, their podcast, Christopher and her podcast. They have another segment on there that talks about cooking and marinating, and that's kind of Chris's forte, and tips and tricks on when to buy the meats, when you cook what, because you're waiting on the sale for the grocery store and things like that. So it's fun stuff, it's enlightening stuff, but it's really great because it shows the dynamic that they have in their marriage, how healthy it is, how they talk about things through just a basic lifestyle that, a lot of people struggle with. And I really think that they're an excellent role model couple that offers just some wonderful insight into daily life and wonderful creativity. So I really hope you guys check it out. But without further ado, here's the interview with Amber from Inspiring Thyme.
Hey guys, this is Amber, and we are going again with our first ever interview on the podcast of Grounded. And today we have Cody Mann showing up with us. Christopher and I have a loving and thriving marriage, but we work at it. Through all the moves and deployments, we have an open line of communication, and I feel like that's super important. We might not want to hear what each other has to say, but we do take the time to appreciate each other's feelings on the matter at hand. Now let's talk a little bit about Cody Mann. She is a certified relationship coach through the International Coaching Federation, accredited World Coach Institute with a BA in communications. She specializes in helping women in younger relationships work through marital turmoil to create a marriage they love, whether the husband participates actively in coaching or not. She leads a life that she adores with her husband and has a passion to help others thrive as well. That's her drive behind becoming a coach. She believes every marriage takes work, and boy does it. But if you work correctly, then you transform from surviving to thriving. Now, let's just go ahead and dive right on in here with some questions because I'm dying to know the answers. What's the difference between marriage coaching and counseling?
Well, thank you, Amber. Thank you for having me here. It's so good to be on here with you and Inspiring Thyme. I've been following you for a long time, and you have given me so many wonderful ideas that my husband and I both implement in the house. So really excited to be here. For one, To answer your question and to jump right in, the difference between coaching and counseling actually is very specific, and people don't realize how specific it can be. So coaching works through a series of introspective, perspective driven questions where we help you find your own path by offering maybe a different thought process than what you would have had before. And I know it sounds hokey, and for those that aren't used to being in kind of any therapy, coaching, counseling, you're kind of like, what does that even mean? What does it even mean? What it really means is when we sit down and we're talking, it's just like two friends talking and having a conversation. And you might be giving me your side of the story, and I might stop and go, okay, great, but what did he think? Did you ask him? Well, no, I didn't. Okay, and what prompted you not to ask? What made you think that you already knew what he was thinking? So we start going down that rabbit hole of different perspectives to make you really stop and think and consider where other options could be. Counseling, on the other hand, is when you're asking advice from someone and they're going through a series of professional methods that they use that handle stuff that coaching doesn't handle. So a coach, for example, doesn't do past encounters. We don't take you from past issues that you may have from anywhere from childhood trauma, if you were in an abusive relationship, things like that, things that really are serious, tumultuous issues that you may have encountered. We don't go from past to present. We take you from present to future, from where you are now to where you want to be. Counseling helps you get from where you were to the present so that you become a fully functioning human being and ready to move forward for your progress.
Oh my gosh, I love that explanation. You know, you see those two words and you use them interchangeably, or a lot of people do.
Yes.
And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, when I hear coaching or counseling, it intimidates me a little bit. I don't want to say scares, but it does intimidate me a little because what am I getting into? But that's the perfect explanation from right now to the future. Let's get your butt in gear and get you going down the right path.
A lot of people get lost. They'll start out wanting to get somewhere, but they really have no idea how to get from point A to point B. And that can be, from life coaching, from career coaching, marriage coaching, whatever. But a lot of times there's this disconnect and they don't really know where to go, how to get there, what path to take, what questions to ask. And that's where a coach comes in, as we help you figure that out. We help you connect those dots and we help you expedite that process so that you're not treading through the weeds and you can't see the overall picture.
Well, and it sounds, I mean, just in your voice, I can tell that you're so passionate about what you do. So what actually made you want to become a marriage coach?
So I started out life coaching first because I had a passion for helping people, but I didn't know really how I wanted to do it. And when I discovered coaching, I thought, oh, this life coaching thing, is it real, or is it kind of,
I think that's
a gimmick? Right, it is. And I was raised in a family where, if you have a problem, you figure it out. You don't go to a therapist, you don't go to a counselor. And now I totally disagree with that mindset. But before, I had to figure my own problems out. When I figured out what a life coach was, I thought, there might be something to this. I got my own coach and I was coached for a while. It was life-changing. And then I ended up becoming a coach myself. Long story short, what I saw and what led me to marriage coaching was I saw so many young couples that were my age, younger, maybe even within a 10-year age range of older or younger than 30, let's say, getting a divorce over small stuff, like simple, small stuff where they just weren't communicating. They weren't taking care of each other. They weren't respecting each other's opinions. And it is something that could have been just a simple tweak. And the more I watched it, the more I was like, this is ridiculous. If you guys could just talk, if you would just ask questions, you could overcome this and you could be one of those 50-year marriages instead of a 3-year marriage.
And I love what you said about you growing up in a family. I think our families were very, very similar. There wasn't a talk of a therapist or going, you work through it, be strong. work through it. And there is something to be said for that. I think that's probably why Christopher and I, and I'm just bringing that relationship up because I'm most familiar with that one.
Right.
I mean, it's, some days are stinky, not because of something we've done to each other, but, life's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. And if you don't have that drive,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good word. But if you didn't maybe come from the background where you just keep going, like it might be
Mm-hmm.
key, but you got to just keep going. Sometimes we all just need a good kick in the pants to remember, talk and keep going. Do you think that's good
Mm-hmm.
advice?
I do, to a point. Like the thing about the keep going attitude and the work through it is, yes, it instills a strong work ethic, because marriage is hard. Marriage is a choice, and you have to make that choice every single day to continue working at it. But there are certain situations, and I've seen those with some of my clients, where you should no longer work at it. You should set up a boundary. Sometimes you might need to stop working at this point, and you might need to set somewhere else. So you really have to gauge it on your own perspective. But the general and the 80%, the bulk, is people, like you're saying, don't know how to work through it. It's not that they don't want to, it's that a lot of times they don't know how, and they haven't been taught to work through something, and they don't know what that feels like. So it's uncomfortable and it's hard, but they confuse discomfort and um, a, a little bit of pain for something that's ending. It's like the world is ending because they're not familiar with it, and
And
they don't know what to do with it.
just from us chatting, I feel like you are equipped to give some very good steps to start.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, isn't that the biggest hurdle? Is just finding the first step, even if it's a very small step, but it is a
Mm-hmm.
forward step. Um,
Yep. That baby step.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it is. And then you gain a little bit of momentum and you really start to feel that ball rolling. And I know that's a
Exactly.
fantastic feeling on any endeavor.
And it's a fantastic feeling watching your clients get that ball rolling. Like it really, I get like almost an emotional high off of it, because when we start in baby steps, like you're talking about. And those baby steps, there's no step too small, no step too trivial. It's each dependent on a person and what they need to get started. And then you watch them compound, and it's fast. It's not this slow process that you feel like, oh, this is going to take me years of therapy to really get through this issue. No, no, no. We're talking like 3 months or less. You should be on the path to recovery with your marriage, with long-lasting tools that can help you work through it no matter what life throws at you through the rest of your life. And that's what's so cool about it, is when they start realizing that, and they have what we call these aha moments, their light bulb goes off, and then everyone gets so excited, and then they keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling, and you can't bring their vibe down. It's amazing.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is the most common problem you think that you and your clients talk about?
Probably communication.
Okay.
Most of my clients just don't. They just don't communicate. So communication is actually a symptom. It's not really a cause, but the symptom itself is the most common. And a lot of clients don't even realize that they have communication problems. A lot of them think that it's something else they've communicated, and then that should be that, and someone should understand. And they don't break it down to think about how they communicated, when they communicated. Being self-aware of your own actions and your own words. That's usually the first step, is learning how to be self-aware and catching yourself really thinking things through, and learning how to do that proficiently before you can really excel at the next steps. And those are the two, self-awareness and communication, are the two biggest that I see when we first start.
And I would say, just me personally, I really kind of have to step back nowadays and go, okay, let's think this through. The world is moving so fast.
Yeah.
For me personally, I really do think that just getting a good look in the morning, maybe I just get up and my cup of coffee, go through my day, and that really helps me personally set the tone for what's coming that day and be focused. So that might be I talk about it a lot on the blog, and not so much on the podcast yet, but definitely on the blog. It's, setting intentions, good intentions for the day.
Yes.
And of course, I think that plays a little bit into what you're saying.
It plays a lot. You're getting your mind right first. Props to you, first off, because there's so many people that don't do that. But yes, you get your mind in the right place. That really dictates how you handle things for the rest of your day.
Well, and that's the five, oh shoot, I forgot the Miracle Morning is actually a book that I read.
Yeah.
I love the Miracle Morning. He has a whole community online. And you have to kind of get right in your own head before you can start branching out into other areas of your life, marriage included, relationships in general.
Yeah, and going off that, the first part of my program when a client signs up is self-care, learning how to take care of yourself first. And that's part of it, is getting your mind right, because when your mind is negative, everything you project is negative, and everyone reaps the benefits of that negativity. The same token, when your mind is positive, everyone reaps the benefits of your positivity, because that's what you export to everyone. And it's really amazing, the power of the mind that you have within yourself that people don't even realize that they have.
It truly, about 2 years ago, when I read this book and really started working on self-development, which is when I really started wanting to do this blog, I was like, wait a second. It was like a light switch that had been flipped on. I was like, there is so much to be found in this just little section of my life. So it really is. It's a whole new world, literally a whole new world.